You guys, we have a treat for you on this Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. So there's this movie coming out called 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Okay.
Now, this is directed by Michael Bay.
That's a big deal.
And it comes out January 15th of 2016, but it's already getting a lot of buzz. It was based on a book written by these two gentlemen that are sitting right to the left of me and next to Jenna.
Hey.
Jenna and two soldiers just chilling.
It's regular Saturday night.
I got Tig and Oz up in the house, everybody.
Hey, thank you so much for having us here.
Now, the last time we had a celebrity guest, I wrestled him to the ground, so be prepared.
Promise?
We got to give them their John Tig Tiegen and Mark Oz Geist.
Oh, I thought we were already friends. I could call him
Now you got to introduce them, and now you can call him Tig and Oz.
okay.
But that's my question: is how do you get your cool military nickname?
Yeah,
What goes
Oz.
into that?
It just happens. Actually, you end up one of two ways. You either do something good or do something bad. If you do something bad, you get a call sign that maybe, like if we had one guy, he happened to wreck a couple vehicles, so his call sign was crash.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Another
what
one
is
lost the
Oz
radio
from?
in his radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
For Oz, just happened.
I'd
Just
make
no
him-
reason at
make him
all?
tell you.
Well, it did, but I've just never told anybody.
Big fan of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it like
I
top
like that.
secret military?
No, no,
Embarrassing.
no.
He's probably playing with one of those kits that you buy, the little like chemical science kits, and probably blew half his eyebrows off.
That's probably it.
that
It could-
close?
something like that, yeah.
Now I want to know. You're not leaving this room till you tell me.
He doesn't want to tell people.
Hey, many people have tried.
I'm sure you've been interrogated
Yeah.
before.
Exactly.
You haven't dealt with the Raz.
Oh, Raz is even wearing camouflage this morning.
Hey, awesome.
Honor of the military. I wore my camo.
So you gentlemen were in Benghazi, Libya, when the attacks went down in 2012.
Yes.
And so you guys got together and wrote a book
Yes, we did.
with the intention of making this into a movie?
No.
No, the intention was to bring some honor and in recognition to the 4 Americans that died that night.
Yeah.
The Ambassador Stevens, Sean Smith, and then Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods died in the explosion that I got injured in. I was standing right beside them when they got killed.
Oh, my.
Are you not under some sort of like when they say you can't talk about this? You were given some freedom to tell your
Non-disclosure.
story.
I mean, the biggest thing initially was, if the media comes to you, if they found out, because, who we worked for, our names weren't really out there.
Right.
We were never really given a gag order, but since we were working for him still, you can't just come out in the public and say this is what happened. But when we finally said, hey, we're going to do this book, they actually went to the agency and told them what they were going to do. And, for the most part, they were pretty supportive of it.
Okay.
So you guys are a security team, right? You're part of a security team when you're in Benghazi.
Yes.
And are you considered like secret agents when you're in part of these?
No, we're just private military security contractors. Our job or our mission is to make sure that personnel with the CIA are protected while they go about doing their job.
Wow.
The only
you protect the
ignorant
CIA.
way I can relate it is like, okay, I'm watching Homeland. I get what she does.
Sure.
All right, it's kind of similar in a Hollywood way.
Yeah.
But when they turn something like this into a Hollywood movie, does Michael Bay come to you guys and do you get any kind of say in how a scene plays out, or do they just want to make it really over the top Hollywood in certain ways? And you're like, well, it didn't really happen like that.
When we first met with Michael Bay, the one thing that we said is that, there's going to be some theatrical liberties taken, but the important thing to us is honoring the 4 Americans that died, because that's the ultimate thing that has to happen here.
Right.
And he was very adamant about doing it right. And I think he's been very concerned with the image that people have of all his movies, but this was perfect for him anyways. I mean, we did have plenty of explosions, so we didn't have to really add too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But between him and then the actors were all very, I'm trying to think what the right word is, but they were just very adamant about getting it right. They wanted to know our mannerisms and know the little things that we did to make sure that they got it right.
So they hang out with you guys. So who plays Oz in the movie?
Max Martini.
Max Martini. So you and Max Martini hung out for how long?
Did a lot of phone conversations, hung out on set, really got to know each other. So he might know how I got my call sign.
You said you never told it, Oz.
We got to get Max.
Well, I didn't
Max
say
in here.
I did. I just said might.
Very, very few people know. And who's playing Tig?
Dominic Famusa's playing me.
And then same thing. You just calls and a couple hangouts.
Yeah, we called, hung out, and going back to the accuracy of the movie. I mean, we were on set while they were doing the movie, and the actors would come up to us, say, how were you, at this part, what were you doing? What were you kind of thinking? How were you carrying the weapons? How were you transitioning? And then Michael Bay, before saying, he'd ask our opinions about stuff. So, is this kind of how it happened, or was it like this? And so, I mean, he was really trying to get as accurate as possible.
Pretty cool.
So they'd shoot something, and Michael Bay would literally look at you guys and go, "Is that
thumbs up?
Pretty good." And
did you ever get to say, "Gotta do it again"?
Yeah, we kind of made him redo the whole set. No, I'm just
please spend another $50 million there, Michael Bay.
Right.
It was only 25.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so much. And speaking of because PTSD, it's rampant.
PTS.
Yeah.
There's no disorder to it. It's just PTS.
Just PTS. I'm sorry. Were you afraid of that being in the scenes when they were doing explosions, or were you guys okay on set?
Yeah, no, I didn't have any problems. I mean, and with PTS, everybody experiences a little bit differently. And all of us, I was in the Marine Corps for 12 years. John did 4 years in the Marine Corps. He's been contracting for 10 years. I've been contracting for 10 years. So this wasn't our first rodeo that we'd been involved in. It's just the most prevalent one that brought some notoriety to an event that normally no one would really know about.
Yeah.
Does the movie at all go past, the actual event into the political?
No, that's that's one thing we also made sure about the book, and we made sure about the movie. We don't want to be in the politics of it,
right?
Because then it just goes back to dishonoring the guys that fell, and like you were saying earlier, just both sides of the aisle are just twisting the story so it benefits themselves and not honoring the guys that sacrificed their lives.
One question I always had about the Marine thing, and I've been too embarrassed to ask: is it ooh?
Yes, we are the best service.
Is it ooh? Or ooh-ah? Is it ooh-rah or ooh-ah?
It's ooh-rah.
Ooh-rah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write that down because I like to say stuff.
No, see, you're not supposed to. Only Marines are allowed to say it.
No, that's okay.
It's like a sign of respect, right? Like
and since it's Veterans Day, then, coming up, I want to talk about one thing. With the Army, anybody in the Army, they call them a soldier, right?
Yeah.
If you're in the Navy, you're called a sailor. If you're in the Air Force, you're called an airman. If you're in the Marines, what are you called?
Marine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A Marine.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right.
I don't know what you're
Just
saying.
call them if they're a Marine, call them a Marine.
Okay.
If you're in the Army, you're not called the Army. You're a soldier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Marine, you're just a Marine.
Because there's a nice rivalry between all you guys.
Well,
all the
No
branches.
rivalry. The Marines are the Marines, and then the Army.
That's a little marinery snobbery.
with it being Veterans
No.
when you're I don't know if celebrating's not the right word. When you're observing Veterans Day or any military holiday, what's the best way for civilians to recognize and honor people in the military who've served?
Or in the Marines.
Or the Marines specific.
I think the best thing is to us flying the American flag, showing your patriotism. I think that's the biggest thing for me is just honoring the American flag because that's who we are.
Yeah.
That's what we serve, and that's what is, and the American flag is the people. And that's the most important part of this is, we the people.
It must really make your stomach turn when you see people protesting anything by stomping or burning the flag.
Yeah,
it does.
It does. But then on the other side, I also look at it as that's first, they have the right to do that. And if I can't defend them, if I can't defend what I disagree with, then I can't just defend what I agree with. I don't have that choice. I choose to defend America, and America's the Constitution, all of it.
Wow.
You defend the flag.
That's very cool.
Yep.
That's very true.
Oz, you said you were in the explosion.
Yes.
Where a couple people were killed.
Yeah.
And that's in the movie. Are you still recovering from injuries that you sustained in that?
Yeah, for the most part. I've had my hand almost blown off. It was kind of hanging off at a 45-degree angle because I've had like 14 surgeries on it. The last one was this last January. I'm pretty much done with surgeries, and now it's just going to always be a part of me.
Yeah.
I think the toughest one for him was the 15th surgery for the face transplant.
They made him a good-looking dude.
But they made me look good. That's all that matters. He's jealous.
Sign me up for that face.
Right? So when you're a contractor and you're living in Libya and it's not going well over there, do you bring your family out there, or is it just you?
No,
it's just us.
Just you, because it's so bad out there.
Yeah. Yeah, anywhere where they would have us, we were GRS is our the acronym they use for us, and if we were somewhere to help protect the agency, then it's one of the worst places in the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to bring your family anyway.
Ever.
Not
yeah.
family vacation.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Do you have any travel tips if you're going to the Middle East?
Yeah,
gosh.
don't go.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't know. I've been to Kuwait and Dubai and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty nice, pretty safe for the most part. You know, you just got to know.
Don't have a layover anywhere.
Well, you
outside.
just make sure you're always, you know, your surroundings, you know what's going on during that time frame. You know, like if you're going through like Turkey or somewhere and they start protesting at the airport, you ain't getting out for a long time, most likely. So you just got to be
ready for that
kind of stuff.
And and you could go to the State Department website and research what they put out travel advisories and things like that, and pay attention to those. And don't be traveling. Somebody tells you, hey, there's this great relic over here to go. Ask around and make sure that that's not in a neighborhood that is that's dangerous.
So
stick with the tour group.
Don't go off the beaten path when I'm in Dubai.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, did you guys ever feel safe when you were in Benghazi?
I always had a gun.
So that made you...
Yeah, I always had a gun, so I knew I was going to...
Right.
You know, the biggest feel about Benghazi was more like the 60s during the mobster days in Chicago. That's kind of how Libya was for the most part. I mean, when we talk about the militias and 17 Feb guys, they're pretty much like Crips and Bloods with guns. And that's
Big
pretty
guns.
much what they were.
RPGs,
Missiles. Yeah.
explosives.
They weren't really trained military guys. You know, they had pretty much their training when they were taking down Gaddafi. That was their training.
Yeah.
So they weren't really that well organized. And
Wow.
And young, too, right?
yeah,
A lot
and-
of them are presented with children with guns.
Yeah, and that's all
Yeah.
presented. You know, the State Department always relying on these guys to protect them, but they're not really trained. The state guys that were coming in and out for the 3 trips that I was there was constantly training. You know, they're showing them how to change magazines, how to so they can react quicker.
And that whole, like, that scene where they stop you for the checkpoint and everybody pulls guns out, like, that happens. Like,
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
and people just pull it. What? Like, how do you get out of that? Like, okay, I'm going to put mine away. You put yours away, and then
Well,
we're gonna go.
you never really want to pull your gun out at all unless you have
Right,
to.
unless you're about to pop a cap.
If somebody, to protect
Exactly.
yourself.
That's what I do.
Yep.
No, you don't,
Yeah.
Al.
I'm getting ready to
You can't
pop
say that in front of 2 Marines.
If you don't pull a gun, you don't pull it out unless you're ready to use it.
Right.
Yeah. You pull it out, you better be ready.
Guys, you better be ready.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna pull it out.
So your private security gig is much a much better thing you got going on.
Well, it was until I got blown up. It's that one time that you get.
Yeah, you
I
done with
thought-
that?
I thought you were doing like bounty hunting within the United States.
Not now. I did that in between my career
okay.
as a Marine or law enforcement and then contracting.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
getting blown up just puts a damper in everything.
It does. It
really
does.
does.
It makes it's just no fun.
Ruins your day. Hey, do y'all have a secret handshake, the Marines?
No.
Al just wants that.
Al, you can't ask secrets to Marines because they're not going to tell you.
If you tell him what Oz is from and not me, I'm going to be so mad.
Okay. I'll talk to you after this.
Like, how many shots of whiskey would it take to get the Oz out?
There ain't enough. There ain't enough out there.
Al, 13 hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. It's not out until January, right? Oh,
Yep.
January.
Al,
15th.
put the tequila away.
So I appreciate you coming in early on Veterans Day to
Hey,
talk
we can
about it
we can
now.
try 13 shots. One for every hour we were there.
Bam.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You probably
Who's
drink
going
out
to
of
be
the
staying in
table.
afterwards?
I'll go after Tig. And what's the name of your guys' book? Because it's slightly different than the movie, right?
It's 13 hours, the true account of Benghazi.
Yeah, buy the book, watch the movie. It comes out in January, January 15th, 2016. You guys, thank you so much for serving our country.
Yeah, man.
And for telling a story and holding honor to those people that lost their lives in Benghazi. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having us on because being able to get the story out helps honor those 4 Americans that gave their lives that day.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for your
Thank you.
John Tiegen
Thank
and
you.
Mark, guys. Tiegen.
My boys taking Oz.